Legacy Deluxe Skullgrin is based off... I'm not too sure. All the information I know about this figure is from a review that I watched like a year ago. And just going off the top of my head, I think it's from a line called Pretenders. And they're like shells with little men inside. And the actual like shells, they don't transform or anything. So they gave this figure a transformation for the first time. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, I don't know anything about the lore of this. But what I do know is that this figure looks so cool. I really like the appearance of this guy. I just think that he looks so menacing. He is like so stocky, so bulky, so wide. So much so that his proportions make him look short. He sort of looks like a gremlin. Like he's really wide in comparison to how tall he is, even though he is a normal deluxe class size. As you can see, he is, yeah, just an average deluxe class size, but he just looks so much shorter than he is. I really like this type of build, but the actual detailing of Skullgrin is very nice. He has some really nice panel lines going on. Hasbro has definitely found their flow in terms of sculpting. They rarely mess up anything anymore. The paint is very nice as well. I really like this color scheme. I like the pinkish pink on him, and all the colors, they just complement each other. It's very good. The whites, the pinks, the grays, they all work together very well. The only issue I have with the paint is just that it wasn't color matched that well. Well, I'm not sure if you can see on the camera, this color is brighter than this color. That's just a minor nitpick. I think he's colored perfectly as well. I don't really have that many issues with the appearance. It's just my type of figure. I don't mind the lack of colors on the grey parts because it works for the blocky aesthetic. But if I wanted to nitpick, they probably could have just painted some details here. And now getting a look at the head sculpt, it is amazing in my opinion. It looks so good. It's so unique, and I don't think they've ever done this for a Transformer. You can see the eyes picked out. Not sure how accurate this is, but I just love this head sculpt. It makes him so unique. And speaking of skulls, there's also a skull in his crotch. Very nice detail. Love the crotch detail. And here is him next to my previous review. And another sort of weird figure, Commander Class Magmatron. You can't see it. Here. Right there. I just really like the way he looks, and I also love the way he feels. All of his joints are so nice and solid and so tight. It's very fun to play with and very fun to pose. Where his head is on a ball joint, he can look all the way around. He can look up that far, down that far. His arms can spin all the way around, a swivel above the bicep, more than 90 elbow bend, no wrist swivel, or waist swivel. Legs can kick out that far. Has a 90-degree knee bend, and a very nice ankle pivot. Posability for Skullgrin is really good. It's so fun to just get him into any pose. It's a very nice feeling figure and a very posable figure. It also helps that he really has no kibble. The only kibble is on the back with this like double gun setup. He also has a tail, by the way, which I think is very cool. This is removable. So you don't really even need to have any backpack, and you just have a really flat figure. But I prefer it to be on because this is way too flat. And speaking of the backpack, these two guns are removable, and you can really put them anywhere. You can have him hold it, or like you can use any of these ports. There's a port back here, there's a port on the side, and there's a port on the actual gun itself. And speaking of weapons, he also includes these two gun blades. Not sure what they are, but they have a peg here and here, and they are painted in this slightly metallic grey. They are soft plastic, and these guns are also painted in that same metallic grey. So with these four weapons and all of these ports, there are lots of different combinations you can do. But my favorite configuration is plugging these blades into the underarms, because I just love arm blades. I think this looks so cool. And also because it just covers up that hollow space right there. And that is literally the only hollow space on this figure. This is a very solid and very fun figure. And the only issue I really have with him is this horn. On my copy it is very loose, but I fixed it now, so it's okay. And speaking of the head, this entire time I've forgotten to take out the ears at the back of his head. Just pretend this was here the whole time. The head is also made out of this soft plastic as well, but I really have no issues with it. It seems pretty durable. I think this is one of the most fun figures to just pick up and just mess around with. He's so satisfying, he's so free, and he's so good just to feel, you know? What I don't really like though is the alt mode, and let's get into that now. Transformation for Skullgrin is pretty good. It is definitely carried by how solid everything is and how nice the joints feel. And yeah, I just have not that many issues with it. It's pretty fun, and the biggest problem I have is just having those arms back, because I do struggle with that a bit. But overall, it's a pretty solid transformation. And the tank mode is not really a tank. It's a rectangular prism. Removing this turret just solidifies the fact that it's a rectangle. I get that the designers were free to make whatever they want, because this character has never had a transformation before, but they could have at least sold the idea better. It doesn't have any wheels, and the only indication that it's a tank are these treads, and it's only at the front, so it doesn't even work because there's nothing here. They could have at least like sculpted some treads here just to sell it a bit more. It feels like they didn't really try with this mode, and they put all their effort into making a really good robot mode, which, fair, the robot mode is good, but this just tanks the whole figure. But adding these turrets do sort of sell it a bit, I guess. And you can add these weapons to the sides to help make it less rectangle, but it just really doesn't work. There's no way you could tell what this is if you just shown it to someone. I've said many times before that I love tanks, but this ain't it. I've seen a lot of different fan modes, and I do think they are a lot better, but I'm not doing any of them because I am too lazy for that. But let's get into size comparisons, I guess. Here's him with a Deluxe class, my previous review, and Magmatron. In terms of detail, there's nothing new to point out. In terms of paint, there's nothing new to point out. And in terms of kibble, there's really nothing to point out. Here's the underside if you're curious. And I do think the tank treads are sculpted pretty nicely though. That is the one new thing about this tank mode. And yeah, let's get into the conclusion. Robot mode carries this figure so hard. It's just such a fun and playable figure. And I do understand that it might be a bit weird for some people, but I like it. And I really like the gremlin aesthetic. Vehicle mode is where this figure is just not the best. I don't even know what it is, and it is sort of like an afterthought. It's something that I feel like they didn't really put too much effort into. So do I recommend this figure? Not really, even though it's really fun. But if it's on sale or on clearance and you want a fun figure, then yes, I recommend it. It is so playable. I have the best girlfriend ever. That's because for Christmas, she bought me this. I never thought I'd have this guy. I am so excited to open this up. I am so shocked that I got this. And yeah, let's just open it. So here we have Masterpiece Brawl out of his box, and there is a lot of stuff. I I'm just so excited to see what this guy's like. Again, a huge thank you to my girlfriend. It looks so good.